Hi, this is Layert, the channel's leader for the gods of Semen. I want you to know that there is a tremendous force within of you that is simply waiting to be awakened if you have already felt lost, exhausted, or frustrated by the sense of stagnation in your life. To unlock this potential and achieve greater degrees of mental clarity, emotional equilibrium, and spiritual development, seminal retention is a crucial component. Our goal is to help you and answer your concerns, but in order to keep the channel's quality high and continue to broaden its audience, I will mostly respond to inquiries from people who send a thank you note that costs more than $5. In addition to helping the channel, its participation helps YouTube reach an increasing number of individuals who are looking for self-awareness and transformation. Keep watching the entire video because I'll give you crucial advice on how to get started on this path and intentionally focus your energies. Let's examine how turning into your spiritual and personal life might be facilitated by seminal retention. As I see that this type of numerical symbology can increase my focus and make me feel a very strong alignment with the materialization of my intentions. I can clearly feel how much thinking about the opening of the subtle field of energy inspires me to integrate concepts of spirituality, personal development, and the practice of seminal retention. I also realize that the mentalization of codes like 3333 emerges as an intriguing trigger for tuning our desires at surprising speeds. I see this code as a sort of internal reminder that the universe always works in harmony with my decisions and perceptions. I also find that when I engage in this type of mentalization, my body reacts with a higher vibration, giving me the impression that I am connecting with aspects of myself that are occasionally overlooked in day-to-day existence. Additionally, I have a strong connection to the notion that our brain contains a mysterious and potent gland known as the third eye. According to many spiritual traditions, this gland would be a portal for the expansion of consciousness, the source of our deeper intuition, and the location where we can evoke high perceptions that frequently arise from limiting conditioning. I'm aware that the term pineal is used frequently in a variety of academic disciplines, and I like to recall that scholars, mystics, and philosophers from various eras have viewed this tiny gland as a sort of receptor, as though it were a facility that could pick up the universe's more subtle frequencies. Since everything around me leads me to believe that when the pineal is healthy and well cared for, thoughts flow more crystalline and we are able to explore layers of consciousness that show us possibilities beyond those we typically perceive on a daily basis. I think this area is crucial for releasing our mental clarity. All of this, in my opinion, is not just an academic idea, rather it is a practical reality that shows up in my daily life, particularly in the way I choose my foods. I believe that my diet directly affects how I meditate, how I concrete, and how I sense the pulse of my own vital energy. When I realize that there are meals that might help me awaken my inner potential, I am convinced that nutrition serves as a means of nourishing a spiritual side that is sometimes neglected in favor of providing the body with calories. In order to keep the pineal pure and free of any poisons that induce calcification and make it difficult to wake up from a larger sensitivity, I think it makes sense to balance this care with diet. All of this has a direct connection to the idea of seminal retention, because I've come to understand that the more balanced and clean my body is, the easier it is for me to control my sexual energy and use it as a creative force that propels me to grow in all facets of my life and to learn more about myself. After reading and considering the list of foods that increase pineal activity, I'm interested in giving them a try consciously to see how they affect my mental and spiritual well-being. For instance, when you mention citrus fruits, I immediately think of oranges, lemons, and tangerines. This brings back memories of the mornings when I would make a fresh juice or just add a few drops of lemon to warm water as soon as I woke up. This liquid helps cleanse my body by removing any toxins that might be interfering with my mind's ability to function harmoniously. Thinking about these fruits gives me a feeling of refreshment, as though the acidic flavor is cleansing not just my physical body, but also the tiny, imperceptible barriers that interfere with my ability to concentrate. Then, the pineapple memory comes back to me as a reminder that there is a potent enzyme called bromelain that can improve my food processing, lower inflammation, and make my environment more favorable for meditation, self-compassion, and the prudent control, or rerouting of my sexual energy. As I feed pineapple, I visualize a golden light emanating from the center of my head. This visual technique, which is similar to swimming in a renewing energy source, increases my condition of perception. I adore the notion that eating particular fruits is closely linked to the potential for increased appreciation for what life has to offer, which helps with discipline and retention and keeps me inspired to develop. Raw cocoa immediately strikes one as having a strong flavor, which sets it apart from commercial chocolate that is loaded with sweets, preservatives, and questionable fats. On exceptional occasions, like when I sit for a longer meditation or when I'm thinking about my life goals, I prefer to make a hot beverage with pure cocoa, since I know it can help me connect with a state of emotional opening and receptivity. In its purest form, cocoa almost seems to act as a heart-facilitating substance, enhancing mood and promoting introspection, two things that greatly aid me in controlling my sexual energy. The sensation of a quieter mind and a more relaxed body helps me to consciously guide the impulses that arise from my masculine center, allowing me to put this energy into creative endeavors or a strong connection to my core. In a world full of pollution, pesticides, and chemical additives that slowly build up in organs and impair mental clarity and emotional stability, it also appreciates the mention of seaweeds like chlorella and spirulina because they aid in the body's removal of heavy metals. I understand how the pineal can be affected by this toxic load, and I believe that adding tiny amounts of chlorella or spirulina to salads, soups, or smoothies can help to cleanse the body more thoroughly. This undoubtedly promotes a more stable state of presence and better discernment when it comes to retention. When I consume a smoothie that contains this kind of supplement, I can observe how it moves through my body, gathering and eliminating anything that is no longer useful. This makes me more open to engaging in meditation, introspection, and spiritual communion that would otherwise be hidden. I'm particularly drawn to the purplish-red fruits because, in addition to being delicious, they include a variety of phytochemicals and antioxidants that serve as a real army of defense for brain cells. I visualize a storm of violet pigments swirling through my brain, cleansing, replenishing, and revitalizing it, while I think about blueberries, blackberries, and purple grapes, vibrant colors that are naturally associated with the third eye energy. The idea that the hue of these fruits corresponds to subtle vibrations that stimulate our capacity to see beyond the obvious and provide us with new perspectives on life and my own sexuality is almost poetic. Given this, I regard adding these fruits to a smoothie or a straightforward mid-range snack as an act of self-love, a choice that combines with the goal of improving every aspect of my existence. In this regard, it is important to remember that certain food villains have the ability to obstruct this process of consciousness evolution. I completely agree that fluoride builds up and calcifies the pineal, which reduces the likelihood that the highest frequencies of perception will show up as sharpness. To reduce the negative effects of fluoride on my health, I like to drink filtered water and use non-fluoride toothpaste. When I want to delve further into my spiritual journey, I realize that this is not paranoia, but rather attention to detail and care. Refined sugar is one of the main causes of energy imbalance, in my opinion, not only because it causes blood glucose peaks and troughs, but also because it can disturb the mind, making it harder to focus, meditate, and control libido at critical moments. Therefore, cutting back on processed sugar as much as possible and choosing more natural alternatives like raw honey or coconut sugar seems like a very sensible move for people who want a healthy body, as well as a sharp mind and well-channeled sexual energy. In a similar vein, I believe that highly processed meals that are loaded with dyes and preservatives contaminate my body both physically and subtly. It is much more difficult for me to maintain my discipline in the practice of retention when I'm eating mindfully and feeling heavy or irritated, since it seems that discipline is accompanied by a general discomfort that draws me to bad habits. Ever pondered what it would be like to experience a sweeping energy coursing through your body, encouraging you to transcend limitations and live life to the fullest. I want to start by introducing you to my new book, Alchemy of the Gods, which delves deeply into the secrets of spiritual emancipation, Kundalini, and crystalline oil. You might not even be aware of the inner strength you possess, but this work provides a means of awakening it. Alchemy of the Gods compiles crucial information in a physical, digital, and audiobook format so that everyone has access, regardless of whether you are just beginning your journey toward semen retention or are looking to advance your practice. In the description and comments, the link has been fixed. First of all, though, I have something new that you might not have anticipated. If you're prepared to change your life and increase your energy to new heights, the Semen Retention Success Path is the ultimate manual you've been waiting for. In over 2 hours of pure material in an audiobook that is thoughtfully designed to be with you wherever you are, I contrasted the 6 main themes of semen retention and condemned. Get ready for an unconventional voyage of self-discovery and personal development. Imagine regaining your vigor, developing deeply and permanently, and discovering a vast amount of vital energy. This audiobook is a master key that unlocks doors to a new degree of achievement and fulfillment, not just a straightforward information source. There's more. You may save 30% on my special The Art of Semen Retention for Men ebook, which has over 20 pages of life-changing information when you buy the Semen Retention Success Path. This extra content will give you access to effective methods for your spiritual growth, personal development, emotional equilibrium, self-awareness, self-improvement, spiritual connection, and life purpose. These methods will help you realize the full potential that each of us possesses. I also invite you to check out my channel's new members area if you want to go one step further. Being a great supporter on YouTube offers unique advantages, including first dibs on exclusive material, increased proximity for idea sharing, and first access to updates. This is the ideal chance for you to advance your development and assist me in introducing increasingly unexpected news to the channel. When I follow a cleaner regimen, I find that my mood tends to settle, my libido is more under control, and my mental clarity increases, all of which help me progress in my spiritual activities. I like to keep in mind that the pineal has previously been given tremendous value by philosophers such as René Descartes, who saw it as the location where the soul and body would unite, or as the soul's thirst. Even while this theory is not entirely supported by modern science, I believe it nevertheless has a fascinating symbolic meaning that makes us consider how important this tiny organ in the middle of our head is. Eckhart Tolle and Joe Dispenza support this idea by asserting that our behavior and food choices have a direct impact on the structure of our neural circuits. Seminal retention is one of the most effective ways to keep this creative fire available, ready to build bridges between the conscious mind and the most spiritual layers of our being. I wholeheartedly concur with the idea that by intentionally feeding the body, we create space for our spirit to grow. Mention of scientific research demonstrating the advantages of antioxidant foods makes me even more convinced, because I like to see how science and tradition may work together to support decisions that may appear straightforward, but have profound implications. Therefore, I firmly believe that choosing a life philosophy that views the body, mind, and spiritual energy as 3 aspects of the same whole is more important than simply improving one's diet or controlling one's sexual need. I understand from millennial customs that purifying, fasting, and eating natural foods have always been strategies to get closer to higher levels of awareness. It's thrilling to know that we can apply this to the modern world without necessarily living in seclusion in a monastery. By incorporating these practices into our daily lives, we can still perform our responsibilities, advance professionally, and preserve wholesome relationships. I think this type of holistic care makes a lot of sense because it creates a balance that is not just physical, but also mental and energetic, which leads to great reactions in my feelings and how I handle my sexuality. I see tiny but constant changes in my mood when I experiment, for instance, by cutting out certain unhealthy foods for a few days and substituting them with ones that stimulate the pineal gland. I experience the most profound meditation, a greater inclination towards physical activity, and consequently, a more effortless ability to notice my sexual impulses without being distracted by the automatic. I feel as though I have become more in control of my inner leader, a leader who directs his own energies rather than allowing them to direct him. Since I think that real transformation happens when knowledge and practice are combined, reading about all of this confirms my agreement. Anyone who wants to evolve may test these facts, which excites me because independent experimentation gives us first-hand evidence that spurs us on to keep going. In my opinion, the practice of retention presents both a challenge and a fantastic opportunity to refocus male strength in areas I had not previously investigated. And I understand that pineal's food hygiene and well-being are essential pillars for this retention to be long-term viable and advantageous. I believe that when I pay more attention to this, my sexual energy takes on a new brilliance, a type of cut that enables me to use it more wisely and deeply in initiatives that help me know who I am and in the formation of a strong, grounded spirituality. Because I really believe in the power of sharing experiences and learning from the accounts of others who also pursue this path of self-knowledge. I also want to know that there is a chance to bring people together in a community or club. I am aware that group communication boosts inspiration, dispels uncertainty, and pushes everyone to reach new heights. Self-knowledge can, after all, be a lonely process in many respects, but sharing ideas with others in a group setting encourages and broadens perspectives, enabling each person to discover their own solutions in a supportive setting. Knowing that other journey partners are finding and validating comparable outcomes, sharing successes and setbacks without passing judgment, makes it easier to live the practice of retention in sync with a high-vibration diet. I reiterate that the importance of caring for pineal extends much beyond a mere fascination with spirituality or altered states of awareness. It affects every aspect of psychophysical well-being, including emotional equilibrium, optimal bodily recovery, and sleep regulation. I feel like I sleep better, dream more clearly, and am more ready to stick to my commitments, like making time for meditation and retention exercises when my pineal gland is in good health. Not to mention that having mental clarity makes it easier to handle everyday temptations, since I can see alternatives where there used to be only one instinctive route, and stop acting on impulses that felt inevitable. Since this chapter concludes by reaffirming the link between knowledge and application, I've come to the conclusion that reading about these foods and the concept of avoiding pineal blockers is pointless. Adopting the personal experiment, whether for a few days or weeks, is essential to allow the body and mind to react visibly, whether or not it validates the hypothesis. Because it starts to notice effects that are represented not only in the spiritual realm but also in daily vigor, productivity, tranquility, and even determination to maintain retention. I am confident that those who do this test rarely return. This dynamic makes perfect sense to me since I am growing stronger with every little adjustment and understanding that life can be lived at a different pace, with a different degree of balance and vision. I feel as though my mind has opened up and my body is adjusting to a new level of functioning as a result of this cycle of food change and self-discovery, which motivates me to keep investigating things I had previously overlooked. I am deeply appreciative of the insights and studies that highlight the importance of the center to the human experience, and I wish to share this information with anyone looking for greater purpose in life, particularly if we are discussing adult men who long for greater control over sexual energy, because everything is so amazing. Nowadays, retention is viewed as much more than just controlling ejaculation. It is an energy-saving technique that, when paired with pineal health, leads to greater purpose clarity and an extraordinary creative drive. Because there are countless ways to explore this relationship between body, mind, and spirituality, I think this is just the beginning of a rich discussion that could span several chapters. However, I already know that being mindful of what I eat and realizing the importance of pineal health form an irreversible foundation in my pursuit of growth, which I reinforce daily by observing the improvements in my quality of life and the growth of my inner capacities. Have you ever pondered the number of opportunities that can pass when your life energy is blocked and you are unable to pursue your true desires? Living up to their full potential might be severely hampered by feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to control these urges. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and take a moment to watch the next video I've prepared if you can relate to it. It's time to make the final change in your path by taking the missing step.